Well, that was an absolutely huge win for Punjab. Obviously, I'm very happy. Huge that Johnny Bairstow's come into form. Great to see. And yeah, RCB coming off the boil a little bit. I blame Benji's prediction because he's a curse.
Hello and welcome back to the Cricket Nerds podcast. I'm Zach and I'm joined with Benj. How are you, Benj?
I'm great. Good game today, RCB and Punjab. Interesting to see James's thoughts on it, as I think we're going to edit him in, aren't we? Because he's given us a little video.
Yes, you will have already seen James and his input. And he's obviously a very happy man, and I'm obviously a very sad man because Royal Challengers Bangalore didn't just get beaten, they got absolutely hammered. We all saw it come in. Benji predicted that Royal Challengers would win, so therefore they lost. And that's all there is to say, really. But we are still going to make a video for you. We're still going to go into our usual analysis of the game. And we may as well start with the Bairstow and Livingston show, which was pretty much what Punjab Kings batting is summed up by, because no one else really did much. So Ben, do you want to start things off?
Yeah, I was just great to see, isn't it? The English boys back in form, doing what they're meant to do. I'm really pleased for Bairstow finally being played in the position that he's meant to be. So he's opening the innings. He had his best ever IPL for Sunrisers, opening with David Warner, and he's doing it similarly for Punjab now. And he's come off back-to-back 2 good weeks. Shikhar Dhawan, I think it's worth mentioning him because he played a good cameo, good holding role at the start, which then allowed the big hitting players like Rajapaksa and Livingston to come in. Rajapaksa, some days it just doesn't work for you, and it didn't work for Rajapaksa today. But then I think Livingston, what an innings from him! It was just clean. It was pristine. Some of the shots that he hit were just huge. Not quite as 117-meter six, but he just looks so good. And I think it's just that day, isn't it, for Punjab? They rely so heavily on like one of that top 4 scoring a 70. Otherwise, they're just going to struggle, aren't they? One little shout out to Mayank Agarwal for the softest, nigh on even squishiest bit of batting I've ever seen. It was the worst thing I've ever seen to get him out. It was a very nothing shot. But yeah, that really summarised the whole of that Punjab innings. They then lost all the wickets at the end. But I think I think they made some very ordinary RCB bowling look good, I think, is what we saw from that back end of that innings.
Yeah, and RCB's fast bowling, Josh Hazlewood and Mohammad Siraj. I don't know what happened with Hazlewood or Siraj, to be fair. Like, Siraj has had a couple of bad games where he's gone at 12, 13 and over, which is fair enough because that's the way he bowls. He bowls with gusto, really. He tries his best to bowl fast and to take wickets, and some days that doesn't always come off. But to see him go at 18 and over, like, that's a bit excessive. And Josh Hazlewood, who before this game was going at less than 7 and over, for him to go more than twice that much, to go at 16 and over, not take a wicket, not look threatening at all. He had an off day, and he had an off day on a day where we couldn't afford him to have an off day. And anyway, even if he did have an off day, we'd be thinking he'd be going at 11 and over, not 16 and over. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I do think that Bairstow and Livingston batted well. I can't take anything away from that. But Royal Challenge were hit with the curse of Punjab. We can't seem to beat Punjab. We have a terrible record against Punjab, and I don't really know why. But we just do. So there we go. But you look at that, and you look at Josh Hazlewood's bowling, you look at Siraj's bowling, you think, wow, it's obviously a great track for batting. But then when you come to look at Wanindu Hasaranga de Silva's performance of 2 for 15, and you look at Harshal Patel's performance of 4 for 34, and Glenn Maxwell's performance of 1 for 17, you think, actually, they've just bowled really badly and Punjab have batted really well. And that combination has put up this massive score of 209, which I think was 20 or 30 runs, way too many for Royal Challengers to chase, especially when you opt to chase. Royal Challengers have been batting first really well. When you're chasing, you think, actually, we can restrict this team. So disappointed by the bowlers, very, as you can probably tell from how I'm talking and what I've said. So there we go. But Punjab, they showed us how to bowl on that wicket. They really did.
Yeah, it was good to see Punjab bowlers bowling well against RCB, because in that first game when they played and RCB batted first again, when RCB batted first the first time, and they put a 220 odd, and then Punjab chased it.
But yeah,
it was 200 something, and then Punjab chased it. The Punjab bowling initially was really poor, and it was just. I think what it is the Punjab mentality works very well against the type of bowler that RCB has. That's sort of my main analysis. Is like that Punjab, let's go from ball one works, but we can't take anything away from the bowling of Punjab, as you've said, Zach. I think all 5 of those blokes bowled really well. They all went for less than 9 and over, with the exception of Rao Chahar, who was a little bit over. Wickets were shared. Pick of the bowlers for me was Rabada. But all around, it was good from the seamers. It was good from the spinners. Rishi Darwin, a bit more expensive than he'd want to be, but he got 2 very good wickets there as well, even in his stupid face mask. But it's fine. We like to see it. But yeah, I think they just did really well. I was really impressed with Arshdeep too. I mean, he always bowls really well, doesn't he? Like, bowls a bit at the top, and then comes in and bowls the difficult death overs too. As I say, Rabada looked really class, and nice to see Harpreet Brar back in that side. Like, he was retained. He's now been given a game. He's been played. He's batted. He's bowled, and I think he looked really good. And his left arm spinners did all right opening the bowling. So all around, it wasn't a bad day for a Punjab bowler, unlike the day that it was being an RCB batsman. I mean, what do you think about the RCB general batting day?
Again, like the bowling, not near the standards that we have shown during this tournament. And I think Punjab and RCB are 2 teams which have been inconsistent throughout this tournament, equally inconsistent. Punjab haven't managed to string more than one game, one win together. They've always won one, then lost one, won one, then lost one. They've not been able to string a few performances together. And yeah, they've seemed to play well against RCB, and RCB likewise, not all the time their batsmen have fired, and we've seen some really good performances where Faf Duplessis scored, Virat Kohli's made a score, Rajat Patidar's made a score. They've all made scores. Last game, everyone got more than 30 except for Virat Kohli in the top 6. So it's just inconsistent, and that's frustrating, because to win the IPL, you need to consistently perform. You need to have these players you can rely on. And Punjab had that in Kagisa Rabada. Kagisa Rabada is not a slow bowler. He's a quick bowler. And yet the quick bowlers for RCB went the distance. And we can't be inconsistent. Otherwise, we're not going to win. We're going to struggle to make the playoffs if we play like this. But look, there are a few positives. Virat Kohli looked really good and was very unlucky in his dismissal. If you're in the form that Virat Kohli's in, then those dismissals are going to happen where it's like, how on earth have I got out to that? It's literally just flicked my glove and it's ballooned off my thigh pad. It could have gone into the ground on another day. So yeah, that's frustrating. Faf Duplessis played a terrible shot coming down the wicket to Rishi Darwan. Mahapur Lomror absolutely middled it, hammered it straight towards mid-wicket. So again, just little things where we're just not thinking properly. And I think that's the issue. And by the time Glenn Maxwell got out, it was the end, really. We had too many runs to score with too many deliveries left. And we haven't done any favours to our net run rate.
Net run rate. Well, I interesting you mentioned Lomror's dismissal, because like the ball before, he smote Rishi Darwan into like one of the top tiers for 6. Absolutely powed it. And then like you could see that I think he got a bit carried away. And I think that's a little bit of inexperience there from the young guy. I think he's played that 6. He's been like, oh, this is it now. I'm in. Comes charging down one and then plays a pull shot that goes straight to mid-wicket. And as you say, 5 yards either side, that's 4 runs. But it's that top class of play, that experience of play that you see from like a Johnny Bairstow, where if you hit a big 6, the next ball you get a 1. Like, unless you're going to be a player that's going to take them for 6 sixes, 6-1. Don't let it get to your head unless you're in and you're hitting it around. When you're chasing 209, no, that isn't the way to bat. And I think Lomra will learn from that today. So hopefully for the future, there'll be something bright there.
Yeah, I think just as Punjab played a very good game. They batted really well. Well, Bairstow and Livingston batted really well. And then their bowling, like you mentioned, Ben, the bowling backed it up. And it was an all-round bowling performance. No bowler for Punjab bowled badly. And that was the reason why they were able to defend that total. If Royal Challengers had got lots of runs early doors, then it would have maybe changed how the game went. But they bowled tight and it was just too steep a chase for Royal Challengers. Anyway, let's move on to Cricket Nurse questions. We have 2 questions today. The first comes from Amar Reddy. It's nice to hear from you, Amar, who says, is Devolve Brevis dropped or had they seen enough to be satisfied with him? Now, this is an interesting question because we thought, well, maybe he should be playing. But something I've heard from when I was listening to the commentary today, and they were talking about Devolve Brevis, and they were essentially saying that he, although it was exciting to see him play, he wasn't producing these match-winning performances to cement his place in the team. And that's an interesting one because no one's really done match-winning performances for Mumbai. So I think he is dropped, to answer your question, but I don't really see why, because surely you're better giving him a good run in the team rather than going to whoever they went for last time, Tristan, whatever he's called.
Yeah,
Tristan Stubbs.
I wonder whether the thinking is there is he dropped from Mumbai as a whole, or will he be retained next year? Is how I read that question. So I think he's been done with for now. Like Mumbai know they're not going to go the whole way. They're going to try as best as they can, but they want to see what they can get from their current talent pool, from the way that their side currently looks. Yeah. And if you think about it, next year. We could have a Mumbai Indians side that comes out with an informed Rohit Sharma, an informed Ishan Kishan, an informed Devolve Brevis, Tim David, Jofra Archer, Jasprit Bumrah. That will be a very scary side.
It will.
And whoever else they pick up in the auction. So whether Mumbai are now looking to build for next year to come back strong, that could be what they're doing. Because I think Devolve Brevis has got a good future ahead. I think we're going to see him very soon for the South African white ball side, at least. Because, I think he's a great prospect for the future. He's going to be a fantastic player.
We have another question from Ankit Singh, who says at the end of his question, he says, take this question tomorrow. So I don't know if he wants us to say it now for tomorrow's game, or if he wants us to say it after tomorrow's game between Sunrisers Hyderabad and Kolkata Knight Riders. Because his question is, what are the chances of Sunrisers Hyderabad going to the playoffs? Now, Sunrisers Hyderabad, as I've literally just said, are playing Kolkata Knight Riders tomorrow, and we will predict that in a sec. But if Sunrisers lose, then that will change my answer to the question. So it's a hard one to answer, really. But I think Sunrisers, although they've played well toward the start of the tournament, they're not doing so well. I think they're in a 4-game losing streak or something like that. So in my opinion, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. Ben, what was your prediction on Sunrisers? Playoffs or not playoffs?
I'm going to say no playoffs, but with the IPL, anything can happen. With RCB losing today, it has made that fourth spot a lot tighter. And I think RCB are in trouble because they've only got one more game left.
Mm. And
so RCB can get a maximum of 16 points now. Sunrisers can also get up to 16 because they've got another game in hand. So, yes, it's going to be thoroughly interesting to see. I mean, Sunrisers won their last game. So maybe there's a little bit of form there to come. Oh, no, they didn't.
No.
They've lost. Yeah, no, you're right. They've lost their last 4 games on the trot. So yeah, they're in a bit of a slump of form. We can see they might be able to turn things around and win their last 3. And if they do that, they've got a good chance of qualifying. But we'll see. We'll be able to make a better prediction tomorrow. But talking about tomorrow, Zach.
Yeah.
Sunrisers KKR. What do you think? Where's your gut going? I think I know where this is.
My gut's with KKR. I just see them beating Sunrisers. They just have a better combination, in my opinion. They've got more reliable players. I think if they play, the issue with Kolkata Knight Riders is their top order batting, and that's the same issue with Sunrisers Hyderabad. So in terms of the bowling, I think that Kolkata Knight Riders have a better bowling attack. What with Andre Russell, Sunil Narine, Tim Southey, Pat Cummins is out of the rest of the IPL, so he's not coming back. But that just opens the doors for other overseas options. So, yeah, I think Kolkata Knight Riders tomorrow. What about you?
I'm going to go Sunrisers because now Brendan McCullum is distracted. He's got a new job. He's handing over. He's going to have a Friday night feeling. So when your head coach is thinking about leaving, it's going to be different. No, I don't know. That's tongue in cheek, but I'm only going to say Sunrisers just to be different to Zach. I think they could turn things around and come back from their 4 losses. They have a really good side, and all they need is a bit of Umran Malik magic and actually bowl it straight and fast, as we've seen him do really well. If he's on it, then anything can happen.
Yeah, and I guess, yeah, it's a case of saying, well, because Benji has predicted that Sunrisers are going to win, that means that Kolkata Knight Riders must win. I think that's what we need to mention. But there we go. No, that's definitely not the case. Benji has made
the Benji commentator's curse.
Yeah, I'd be interested if any of our viewers could figure out how many predictions Benji's got right, or who's got the most predictions correct out of myself, Benj, and James, like percentage-wise, because obviously we've all been in different numbers of videos. And then I think the last thing, which is kind of a cricket nerds question and kind of a comment of the day, the question/comment is Dhoni immortal?
Yes. He's never going to die.
Okay. Brilliant. Well, let's finish it there. Thank you everyone so much for watching. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. Leave your questions down below for us to answer. They don't just have to be about cricket. They can be anything, right? They can be like, how many runs has Benj scored on the weekend? Anything, right? We're happy to answer.
I'll tell you how many runs I scored tomorrow. I'll tell you about it.
And make sure you listen to us. We are on Spotify, Anchor FM, all these other podcast sites that you like to listen to. You'll probably be able to find us, and follow us on social media. We're at Cricket Nerds Pod. That is the thing that you need to search when you look for us. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. We do appreciate it, and we will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.